Okay, and about the metrical forms, the sonnets we're reading today are the so-called English sonnet or Shakespearean sonnet. And when we move on to the 19th century, we'll have Petrarchan sonnet. Petrarch 佩多拉克，我想你们那个高中历史课本应该有念到，就是他是什么意大利文艺复兴时期最有名的一个诗人。好 ，and he invented the Petrarchan sonnet, and also the whole love sonnet tradition in Italy. And then when the sonnet is introduced to England, Shakespeare was the one to revise it. And it is said that, I don't know Italian, but it is said that there are not as many sounds in Italian language as there are in English. And that's why for an Italian sonnet to have 5 rhymes, A, B, C, 4 rhymes, 4 to 5 rhymes is easier than for a sonnet written in English. Okay, so an English sonnet needs more rhyme. And that's why also from Petrarchan sonnet to English sonnet to Spenserian sonnet. Spenserian sonnet is a kind of sonnet we're not dealing with. It also has only 5 rhymes. Shakespearean sonnet has A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 7 rhymes. Okay, more rhymes. So it's an easier form, a plainer form. Spenserian sonnet is more intricate, but that's something we're not dealing with. Okay. Basically, I think you just need to remember the stanza form. You don't need to memorize the rhyme scheme of the 2 kinds of sonnets, but you need to remember the stanza form. And that is Petrarchan sonnet is A6 structure. A6 就是一个 octave 一个 sestet 8行2个 quatrain 造成8行，然后再一个6行8-6结构。那English sonnet 是 3 quatrains and 1 couplet， 就是3个4行加上一个 couplet， 一共14行。好，这个结构很重要，好，不要忘记，就是 Petrarchan sonnet 1 octave and 1 sestet, and English sonnet 3 quatrains and 1 couplet. And there is a reason for this arrangement of the development, and that is to do with the logical presentation of the ideas. In other words, the stanza form helps support the ways ideas are presented. Okay, and don't forget iambic pentameter. 应该不要忘记哈 ，penta 就是5，对不对 ？pentagon， 好，就是抑扬哒哒5音部。This is a sonnet line. You know, for all the English sonnets, it's iambic pentameter. Okay. And talking about the way ideas are presented, you know, in the Petrarchan form and English sonnet form, you know, we talk about how octave presents an idea, offers a proposition, and then the sestet gives the resolution. As I said, in the 19th century, we have an example of Petrarchan sonnet, Ozymandias, by Shelley. Is a Petrarchan sonnet. So when we get to that part, I'll explain how the ideas are presented through an octave and then a sestet. And today we'll see how one idea gets elaborated on through the 3 quatrains. And then there is a final couplet, okay, which is a bit like a punchline. Okay, and then you see how through the 2 sonnets, or maybe the 3 sonnets, you see how the punchline is really witty, or involves a lot of interpretations, a bit of ambiguities, and then a lot of interpretation. Okay, so sometimes people say that Shakespeare, between octave and sestet, there is a turn in the logical direction. sometimes starting with however, yet, etc., a turn in the logical direction. And sometimes people say that in Shakespearean sonnet, there is also this turn in the third quatrain. Okay, so I think when you look at the logical development, these are the two things you should look for, whether there is a turn, a logical turn, maybe in the middle part, after the first two quatrains, okay, and whether there is a punchline at the end, and what the punchline does to the previous three quatrains. Sometimes the punchline can undermine with the idea that has been elaborated on in the first three quatrains. And that's where, the sonneteers can be really witty. The sonneteers can spend a lot of time elaborating on the ideas, and then towards the end, it like overthrow everything said before. Okay, and leaves you with a lot of doubts about, what really is true. Okay. Okay, so these are the elements to look for. And the other thing is, last semester we talked about figurative language, right? So you shouldn't forget that we have metaphor, simile, personification. And then I remember, because I could not stop for that, we talk about that poem as having an extended metaphor, how the death carriage or the journey itself, as a metaphor of the journey to death, gets elaborated on, throughout the poem. And then the poem metaphor is a poem with many metaphors, showing us the different aspects of pregnancy. Okay, so these are the two ways of using metaphors. One is that one poem can have many metaphors, and the other is that one poem just develop one metaphor from beginning to end, and that's what we call extended metaphor. And in the context of the 16th century sonnet and 17th century metaphysical poetry, we talk about this kind of extended metaphor as a conceit, a metaphysical conceit. Okay, so you'll get to see more how it is a very witty conceit next time, where love can be compared to so many different things. Okay. Okay, so let's move on to, shall I compare thee to the summer's day? I'm just showing you a 16th century painting for your interest. This is done by Archimboldo, and he's one to be a surrealist before the time of surrealism. And that's the way he presents summer, with different kinds of fruit like corn, eggplant, and artichoke. We don't even have artichoke here. Artichoke is seen to be a really precious fruit, precious vegetable in the United States. But probably, maybe you haven't had it yet. Okay, but people talk about how in this painting, presented in the 16th century, it shows that expansion, or the voice on the sea has happened already, because the corn, as some of you may know, is from Americas. 美洲才产那个玉米, okay, and the eggplant, the brown color eggplant, was planted in Asia by Arabs, and artichoke I forgot, from somewhere else. No, they are not. Locally grown. They were not locally grown in Europe or in England at that time. Okay, so this is one presentation of summer. And in Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day, there are two kinds of summers. Okay, and that's something you need to find out. Let me play you the song.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling birds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a day. Sometime too hard the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dim, and every fair from fair sometime declines by chance or nature's changing course and trim. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death bribe thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as man can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives there. And this gives life to thee.
Okay, one thing we say about reading poetry is that you need to do two things, and maybe in different readings. Like in the first reading, when you try to figure out the meanings, you need to straighten out the lines. Sometimes, especially in classical poetry, you know, the subject verbs are inverted, or sometimes the syntax is completely changed to meet the metrical pattern, like iambic, okay, or to create some emphasis. Okay, so that's one thing. And then secondly, sometimes you need to find out where the subject is, and where the main clause and where the subordinate clause is, in order to straighten out the whole meaning. Just to give you an example that you had last semester, Noises Patient Spider, you know, the 2 poems by Walt Whitman. Like the Noises Patient Spider, the whole poem is just one sentence, but there are different lines. So you need to know in the first reading that it is one sentence, in order to find out where the main clause is and what the main idea is, and what the subordinate clause and subordinate idea is. Okay, and then in the second reading, you try to appreciate the sound, the rhythm, etc., etc. Okay, so let me paraphrase and help you understand the literal meanings, and then I'll ask you some questions. Okay, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art. I think by now you know that you know we are dealing with classical poetry, so there are some words which are in classical forms. Like thou means you, art, you are, okay? So you are more lovely and more temperate than summer. And here, again, bear in mind that this is not our summer, okay? I think our summer is just humid and hot, okay? And the summer in England can be a fickle, 就是很多变的, okay? Like I heard my friend said that even in June, it can be chilly cold. You have to wear a jacket, you know, a bit like our December, okay? And sometimes it can rain. So here, this is the first proposition. And then Shakespeare, the speaker, the sonnet here starts to elaborate on the idea of what summer is like in the first two quatrains. Rough wind do shake the darling buds of May. Okay, so the wind can be rough. It can blow off the buds of May. Okay, and then there's the opposition here. The winds is rough, and then buds. They are precious, so they are darling buds of May. And summer's lease has all too short a date. Lease 是签约、合约、租借的合约。Okay, summer's lease is very short, too short a date, very short. So summer is not there to stay forever. It's like whenever summer comes, it has its own lease. Okay, this is like you're renting a room and you rent it only for like 1 year, and then after that year you need to renew the lease. And summer's lease is only like 3 months. Okay, but according to this sonnet here, the lease is very short. Okay, so there is implication with the word lease as well as the predicate here that summer is very short. Summer is not there to stay forever. So this is the first quatrain, making a contrast between thou and summer. Okay, thou are more lovely because the darling buds is to be destroyed, are to be destroyed right away, and more temperate because you don't have this rough winds, or you later on the sonnet here will say that you will have a kind of immortality. Okay, unlike summer, which is very short and transient. Okay, and then here the second quatrain again describes the uncertainties or the changefulness of summer. Sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines. Sometimes the eye of heaven shines too hot, and the eye of heaven, the sun, shines too hot, and often his gold complexion dimmed, and often his gold complexion is dimmed. And this again is an inversion of the subject and verb. 那个 gold complexion 就是那个太阳的那个面容，它的那个金色的面容。Okay, can be dimmed by clouds. Okay, and this is the most quoted line. And every fair from fair sometimes decline. It actually means every fair sometimes declines from their fairness. Anything beautiful can decline from its own kind of beauty. Okay, but to put from fair together with every fair, you get the rhythm of the falling, the sense of falling rhythm. Fair from fair. It's continuous decline of the beauty. Okay, by chance, declines by chance or nature's changing core untrimmed. Untrimmed again is the verb. Untrimmed by chance or nature's changing course. By chance, coincidence, or nature's changing course. 自然的 unpredictable, changeful way of development. Okay, and usually we talk about like trimming something, like trimming your hair, trimming the tree to make it tidy, to make them tidy. But then here, natural beings can be untrimmed, can become unorganized, can become unshapely, because by nature's or by chance. Okay, like the young people can become older, and then the shape becomes less beautiful, and that's the idea of being untrimmed. Okay, to become the opposite to being neat or being balanced. Okay, because trimming can also mean adjusting and balancing a ship. When we read a classical poem, sometimes a good dictionary is necessary to find out more meanings. And later on, if you do want to study them, then sometimes you even need to check Oxford Old English Dictionary. I remember I talked about it in the first class last semester, Oxford Old English Dictionary, where old usages, like the meanings of trim in the 16th century, in the 18th century, etc., get introduced. Okay, but we are not dealing with in our class. Dealing with that in our class, I think that's too difficult. Okay, so in the first two stanzas, there is description of summer, how summer is changeful, and then how summer can become gloomy or even destructive of natural beings sometimes. Okay, so there are images of decay. And also there are repetition, like more and more from fair to fair. Okay, and there the nasal sound, shine, dim, decline, trim, to show the lack of energy in summer. Okay,